This video is about an Anglo-Saxon hedge in Risborough, recorded in the AD 903 Charter, Sawyer number 367 of Hrisanbyrge, the hills of the brushwood. Risborough is in Buckinghamshire, the county of the enclosure of Bucker's people, which is close to London.
That was just such fun.
This is WC21 Productions Ltd. He's a fellow YouTube antiquarian and his channel is up here in the corner.
I don't know if it's going to make it into the final cut of this video, but we've just spent, I don't know, 30 minutes, 45 minutes even, counting species in a hedge. And it was the best fun I've had for ages.
Sarcasm is the lowest form of wit.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. So what we're doing is marking out 30 paces. Him and, you know, it should be 30 yards, he and I. And then we're going to count the number of species.
About 30 here.
Okay, so put something down on the ground. Yeah. So we've got 2, and then we'll both of us count up how many species of tree we can find. And remember, I want to know exactly the names in Latin of each tree.
Ah, yeah, that's no problem. No problem, Tom. That'll be fine.
So we're at what I think is the Rachhegian. No, Rachheges.
We're right next to Green Haley, which is a really good clue that the location the charter called Heilia was here rather than further on, as other people have identified it. I think it's also been mistranslated. We're high up on the hills here. This is not the place that you would necessarily grow hay, where you wouldn't get very much of it if you did. I think it's hedge. I think it's hedgelines, and what helps us in that definition is that the previous location, Rachheges, has been translated as hedge, whereas the hedge in hedgelines hasn't. I think they're both hedges. They're both spelt the same, and it is. I think it's more appropriate towards to the location and the charter. I think this part, though we are in Heilia, in Green Haley, I think this is a continuation of that Rach hedges, which means Rach is roe deer in Old English.
Anyway, the roe enclosure, the roe deer enclosure. And what we're going to do is count in this, we're going to see how old this hedge is. We're going to count how many species of tree there are. Yeah. It is partly laziness.
Really nice.
But yeah, I like putting things in front of the lens. That's B-roll number 1 done. There you go. The thing is, having worked out there was a discrepancy between mine and Darren's figures.
My work was checked.
I've gone and checked his figures. Typical. Nobody who knows me will be surprised by such control freakery, and there was in fact exactly the same as mine, 8 species. So that makes it a year. This is 910 years old. This
910.
age. Flip it, fantastic. And this is the Hooper equation, which is proper Scientology. But I would say they would still be speaking Old English when this was laid. And we were looking at the bank along the inside, because the level is dropped on both sides. We can say that is a made bank deliberately as a dividing enclosure, dividing boundary. So the boundary comes up here and then goes along over there.
Right. From my understanding in the Chilterns, a lot of the depth of these, from my understanding, with these hollowways in the Chilterns, you know, there may have been some digging to create it originally, but the depth is very much about years of traffic.
No, come on, look, that's 4 yards tall.
But it is chalk, look, if you look over here.
Yeah.
I mean, the ground is really, really soft.
Very smart.
That has got to be the boundary, hasn't it, that they're talking about?
Yeah. So this is ash dieback, which is a terrible disease affecting ash, and the ash and the oak are our sort of national trees.
Yeah. You
So
know, I've not
note,
actually noticed. I knew about it, but I'd not noticed it. That's horrible. Right, that's the boundary through there. You can see those big trees on it. I think it's marking the edge of the woods there.
yeah,
It's going through. It's going through there.
I think it's right next to it.
You think it's it? You think it's
I think we're just going to argue, aren't we, all the way around? But,
oh yeah, I haven't noticed it.
I do.
Yeah, no, you're right.
But it's
No, yeah, I think that's right. That's it, isn't it?
so that's a beech. I think it's a beech or it's a hornbeam. I can't tell the difference between the two. It's
We just did a classic walk by. I think that's it, isn't it?
yeah. You should get a camera, Darren. You should get a camera with a zoom lens.
Not a toy.
You're doing a masculine walk,
Right. Green Haley.
just been past.
Oh bollocks! So we are now on the bit of wood.
Have a look on that map. This is our first right-hand turn after the.
Yeah, it is like a turn, isn't it?
We'll see.
I'll do some B-roll type
So,
stuff.
so what's it all about, and why do we do it?
Why do we do YouTube?
Yeah.
Well, I can't speak for you, Tom.
Yeah.
I do it because I absolutely love the sound of my own voice and being the centre of attention.
Can you be serious for a minute?
Yeah, I will.
Come on.
I'll tell you seriously. So I, like many people,
Yeah.
I made a wrong choice when I was a young man, and I went into business, into commercial sort of business,
Into making money.
trying to make money,
Yeah.
and I did that for whatever it was, 30, 35 years, and it drained my soul.
Yeah.
I did quite well at history at school. Got an A in my history O-level and my history A-level.
Yeah.
Should have gone to university and followed up on that, but I didn't. I followed the buck.
Yeah.
And this is about trying to correct that. That's for me. What about for you?
I said, I grew up with antiquarians, so like at school it was like we had to, we were imbued with all sorts of stuff about the White Horse of Uffington and stuff that. So it was, one of our teachers, our RE teacher was an antiquarian. Another teacher we had was actually an archaeologist, actually an amateur one that did digs. He dug stuff up, and so I've always had it. It's been part of my nature.
But you didn't pursue it as a career, did you?
No.
I mean,
obviously not.
No, obviously, I've always had it. I'm glad we did the species counting where we did, because I'd sort of thought we'd do it here.
But those are old hedged trees that have just grown on.
Yeah,
They hate it in here.
Just unbelievably beautiful for somewhere that is, I don't know what, 35, 40 miles from London?
Yeah. Root around in the hedge. That's what
Right, is that what you're doing? Rooting time.
We're rooting.
So we're counting species again.
Yeah, I think we should. I think we should prove that this is the Saxon hedge.
So that is.
So that's it. That's prunus. So this is a plum of some sort. It's probably a blackthorn.
Right. Okay.
So,
Yeah, I thought that was.
but
Black. So we're measuring 30 yards
2,
now.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that is a. I don't know what that is. So we'll call that as unknown one. No, it's a plum. Type of plum. Plum.
What's that one with the green berries up there?
That's a climber, so I wouldn't call it that.
Doesn't count.
That's the deadly nightshade. I wouldn't call it as a hedging plant. Holly.
You've got holly, yeah. Is that blackthorn?
I think it is. I mean, it has got a couple of thorns on it. No berries. I can't see any berries. And that's hazel. I think we've. It's that fence post, isn't it?
Yeah, we're at the post, I think now. About now.
That's a different species of plum. Do we count different species? No. Anyway, right, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's another 910 years.
910 years.
Oh,
wow.
Fantastic.
So that's matching our other one exactly.
That's much, yeah. That's exciting. So maybe we've got a theory about one complete Anglo-Saxon estate where all the hedges were grown at the same time.
Yeah, it could
Maybe.
still be the Black Hedge. Although that earlier hedge wasn't the Black Hedge, was it?
There was a raw hedge.
Yeah, that was a raw hedge. But it looks along here again like a very old hedge with a significant ditch. It's quite. It seems likely to me anyway that this is the boundary that's described in 903.
So outside the Piccadilly pub we saw a stretch of hedge. Now that is not on the parish boundary, but the parish boundary isn't necessarily the Saxon boundary. I think it's been moved around a house. So we looked at the amount of species and we came out as 8 species in 30 yards. So that's a date of 910 years ago. So, but now we're in a part where it is, and then you can see the ditch. Maybe you might be able to see the ditch, and it is. We're 100% sure this is on the boundary of the Blacan Hegcean. So we should start, once it's a bit thicker, we'll start counting species. Fuck it, let's start now. What's that? Is that hawthorn? I don't know what that is, but we'll call it unknown one. Oh, it might be an alder.
And have you got the big tree that's sort of hanging over us?
Oh yeah, that's an alder. Yeah. I already got alder. And so that's our divider now. Good ditch, isn't it? It's a good ditch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9! 9, so that's...
So what does that, if you do the equation? So 9 times 100...
So it's 990 plus 30, so it's 1,020. 1,020?
Yeah, we've pushed it back.
Yeah,
we're getting there.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Hooper. for that
Fantastic.
equation. Right, project achieved. Let's go down the pub. Where's Tweedy? Let's get a bottle of champagne.
Tweedy'd have a tarp up down here in no time.
Thank you so much to WC21 Darren for coming down to see me and to see this hedge, this black hedge. We did a lot of really good citizen science today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I hope it wasn't too bossy, and I hope you'll come down and or I'll go up and we'll do another one soon.